People of Reddit, what was the most NSFW event you ever stumbled upon in high school? Story number 1. Not me, but a friend of mine who was a yearbook photographer. She was a rail-thin, awkward, geeky high schooler and was asked to photograph a day in the life of the swim team. Our school had football fever, and so other sports were always trying to get more than a few mentions in the yearbook, packed with dozens of football shots. So my friend showed up to the swim team practice and later the state tournament. She was asked to join them at their victory party, which was at someone's house with its own pool and hot tub. When she got there, most of the team was already drunk, not an adult in sight. There was also a lot of girlfriends of the team there, and more than once, my friend was asked to join them naked in the hot tub. Sex was pretty freely flowing, and she strived constantly to get acceptable photos instead of the wanton depravity around her. At one point, some naked girl was chugging while she was in the cowboy position, screwing on top of her boyfriend while everyone cheered her on. They kept begging my friend to take photos, and she refused in horrified shock. Some of the guys got really handsy with her until finally she picked a time when they were distracted and she left. She later cried to her best friend because she felt so stressed out, and it was nothing like she expected, sort of like showing a 10-year-old Caligula when they were expecting Toy Story 2. Only one photo made it to the yearbook from that party. A hot tub photo where she had to crop out the beer keg and everyone's body was below the waterline, so you couldn't tell they were naked. Story 2. I was a dildo peddler for a while at school. Girls who wanted sex toys but didn't want to buy them themselves, or couldn't, would pay me the cost and a bit extra for me to get it for them simply because I had no shame as a 17-year-old. Story 3. I went to a boarding school during my freshman year of high school, and a few weeks in, I volunteered to help walk our librarian's dog for her while her leg was healing after an injury. So I was walking this huge dog through the woods around campus when he suddenly sniffed the air and just ripped the leash out of my hands and took off into the underbrush. I started chasing after him when I heard screaming and yelling. I thought, oh god, this dog mauled someone and I'm going to get expelled. Broke through a clearing and there were 5 half-naked upperclassmen trying to put their clothes on and scatter while this dog is joyously barking and jumping up on and licking them. Story 4. Walked into a bathroom after school and found a guy and a girl about to go to town. She had her shirt off and skirt up, he had his pants on. I caught them just before the moment of insertion. I said nothing. I would have left them to it, except all other bathrooms on campus except this one were always locked shortly before the last bell. So I silently walked to a urinal, calmly did my business, and properly washed my hands. By the time I went to leave, the girl was hiding in a stall and the guy was waiting by the door. I shrugged at the guy. The guy shrugged back. I left and heard the door lock behind me. Not one of us said anything or made a sound during the entire exchange. What a Chad. Asserting your dominance like that? Story 5. I ran cross-country in high school. Sometimes during practice, we would run through trails in the woods surrounding the high school. One day, right after school ended, we started running down the trails and stumbled upon 2 students having sex. Judging by their reactions, I don't think they were expecting a group of 15 guys to run by while they were getting it on. Story 6. In band before a football game. I walk into the percussion room to hang out with the homies. Everyone is huddled around this dude in the corner of the room laughing, so of course I walk over to check it out. Turns out the dude was showing everyone how tiny his dick is, and everyone was so fascinated. Yeah, it was really, really small. Like from the tip of your pinky to the first knuckle down. I've never seen anything like it. Lol. Sounds normal. Story 7. Oh man, I've got a good one for this. So I'm in high school theater class and I've been helping the teacher out with a lot of tasks, like setting up the green room and stuff. Just a little helpful stuff. Well, apparently one of us left the door unlocked and unattended for a little too long. In our green room were 2 big blue couches that were the most uncomfortable things I had ever sat on. The teacher comes running into the room from the hall and says, "Suddenly, Tequila, I think someone is in the green room. Go with me so I can have a witness." Thinking nothing of it, I go. We stand by the door and someone is most definitely in there, making some pretty unusual sounds. I realize what the sound is half a second before the teacher throws the door open to 2 kids from my class getting down on that couch. I only had like 2 seconds of view time before the teacher screams, "God golly, Miss Molly," and slams the door. I sat outside that door crying from laughing for about 20 minutes before they knocked on the door to be let out, realizing we had the stage completely locked down. The look on their faces when the principal let them out and led them to his office will be forever in my mind. Can you imagine? Balls deep about to blow in from over your shoulder. "Good golly, Miss Molly." I dream of it sometimes and still wake up laughing. Mad lad. Story 8. When I was in middle school, someone jerked off and finished on his desk in the middle of class. The story is a legend in our area, and it's been retold so many times that it's hard to figure out what actually happened after he finished, so I'll give you each ending I've heard from different people. Number 1. He finished and it shot across his desk onto the girl's hair in front of him. Number 2. The teacher heard something happening, went over and saw it on the desk, and he put her finger in it. Number 3. He just combed over himself and got kicked out of class. He got suspended, and a few years later got caught peeing outside and put on the sex offenders list. The guy is really funny and pretty chill now. He has a lot of stories about him and they're all amazing. It's weird that it was him peeing outside as opposed to him masturbating in class that got him put on the sex offenders list. Story 9. Oh god, I've been waiting to tell this story here on Reddit. This was last year. I was a freshman, but there were a few sophomores in my English class. We were doing argumentative essays this week, and were in the computer lab researching our topics. A few students were down the hall in the library because there weren't enough computers in the computer lab, so she went to give them the same instructions she had just given us. Not long after she left the room, I smelled something odd. At first, I thought she was just heating up her lunch a bit early, but then I remembered. There's no microwave in the computer lab. So I turned to my friend beside me to ask her if she smelled it as well. As I turned to the left, I saw one of the sophomore girls with her pants completely removed. I was very taken aback by this, but even more so when I saw that there was a computer mouse halfway in her vagina. I just sat there, completely frozen. My friend noticed this and went to see what I was looking at. She said something, and everyone else turned around to see the sight. Some people jumped out of their seats, making jokes and stuff. At this point, the teacher walks back in and asks why people are out of their seats. And then she sees why. She screams and the girl leans forward to grab her pants, but had not yet removed the mouse. The pressure applied broke the cheap mouse inside of her. The nurse was called over there. They had to call an ambulance and take her to the hospital. Why? I have so many questions. I can only imagine how bacteria-ridden that shared cheap mouse must have been. Story 10. My high school had a lock-in every year where you basically stayed at the high school and weren't allowed to leave from like 6 p.m. to midnight. They were usually pretty boring and stupid as shit, because students had to bring their own consoles and could only bring E-rated games and PG-rated movies. Anyways, there was an upstairs to my school, but it was only 2 rooms. One of them was locked and the other movies were playing in. I was watching movies upstairs, and when I went to use the bathroom up there, I opened the door to a full-on orgy. I mean like 8 kids, and it wasn't even that big of a bathroom. I don't understand why they wouldn't lock the door. I really wish they did, so I didn't see that. I then went downstairs to the locker room where a bunch of kids, this was the boys' locker room, but there were like 10 guys and 10 girls, were playing Truth or Dare. I was a really shy and unpopular kid, so shit like that was weird for me. One of the girls saw me come and dared another girl to blow me in front of them. I got really embarrassed and ran out of there as fast as I could. By that time, it was only like 10, so I talked to the person running it and told them that I threw up and they let me leave. I never went to another one of those stupid things after that. Story 11. Not my high school, but a neighboring one. A gay kid came out a year earlier, but no one ever knew if he did anything or had any affairs with anyone. He was in a Catholic school, so he had kept his gay pride on the down low. Anyway, there was a party and the kids got drunk, and the next day, we finally got our answer, but the hard way. During the party, he gave a random guy a blowjob, and some idiot not only recorded everything from start to finish, but sent it to the principal of the Catholic school. He ended up transferring and word spread across the whole country. Luckily, he was well respected and everyone treated him normally. Story 12. Didn't walk in on, but this stuff has stains as proof that's been passed down throughout every band generation. One kid caught almost every week of his senior year till graduation in the stall jerking it with a body pillow. So many have done it in different places of the band room, and all involve one dude, different girls each time. Jizz stain on a marching uniform. Dude got caught watching porn jerking it on his laptop in the instrument closet. The girl made a porno with her BF and it got leaked. She was at least 7 out of 10. I saw, I came, I praised the Lord, then broke the law. 2 had sex in the sports administrator's chair. 2 girls were caught fingering each other in the stall. 1 dude getting blown behind the bleachers. Girl being fingered on the stage behind curtains. The dude being blown from behind stage curtains. Also, 1 ugly as fuck teacher was wearing a skirt with no panties and leaned back a little too far in her desk chair. Class was flashed. 1 girl gave a guy a handy during class in middle school. 1 guy fingered a girl on the bus. 2 girls I know gave 2 guys BJs. And my ex-best friend would bring a blanket on tennis trips and they were all handsy downstairs. I also witnessed him get on the floor and cover his head with a blanket. The girl in tennis had to wear skirts and his GF didn't wear panties one bus ride because he asked her to. I performed cunnilingus on a girl in the percussion closet. Someone saw it in the window. I fingered a girl in the stairwell of our school. No one caught us though. And I fingered a girl in the school library after hours when no one but band kids was in the school and most of the lights except for the band hall were off. Edit. Added the stage curtain in middle school once. Forgot about horny drama kids in middle school was repressed far in my memory.